this morning. There are several big issues facing Hoosiers in the new year. We sat down with the governor. There were no limits on what we could ask. 2020 is already shaping up to be quite fascinating, with the fate of the state attorney general up in the air, the state of facing a vaping crisis, and teachers hoping that legislators will consider their pleas for dignity and more dollars. The sea of red for Ed shows no signs of wavering in the new year. Teachers are seeking better from the State House, and that includes salaries. Indiana ranks 36th in the nation for average teacher pay. In our one-on-one interview with the governor, he says funding for teacher pay will be similar to the state's 2017 road funding initiative.
We'll let the data drive the discussion. We'll say, here's where we want to be, here's where we are, how do we get there, and here's how we pay for it, and who pays. And that's what teachers deserve to know. That's what taxpayers who are paying the bill deserve to know. That's what school leadership, the administration needs to know. And so that's what this year will be all about, clarifying these once and for all in a systemic, sustainable way.
The governor is also focused on the vaping crisis and is seeking to raise the age people can buy tobacco and e-cigarettes from 18 to 21.
It's a step. It's not the answer. And you might even say a small step. This really is one of those all hands on deck efforts that says we got to go at this from trying to get people to never start because it's so hard to get people to quit.
And he's not backing off on his initial call for Attorney General Curtis Hill to resign. A few days ago, Hill learned of a recommendation to have his law license suspended for up to 2 years for alleged inappropriate conduct with a lawmaker and legislative employees.
I do believe that as statewide elected officials and elected officials in general, you should be held to a higher standard. And after reading that investigation, came to the conclusion that the best for everyone involved, quite frankly, would be that he resign. And I've just remained there. But again, to answer your question directly, this is just one step in one of the 3 cases that are yet to conclude.
So is it justice or not?
Not yet.
All due at 6:30 here on RTV6. We talk about the thousands of Hoosiers still on the sidelines of this economy. And how does the governor size up his competition as he seeks a second term? That and much more coming up in our next half hour. But on the issue of education, the governor is awaiting the recommendations of a commission focused on teacher pay. He did use $150 million in state reserves to pay off a pension liability that had been funded by schools that could help districts use other dollars on teacher salaries. The governor also signed a 2-year budget which included $763 million in new money for K-12 education. But he's also opposed to using the results from the iLearn test, that new test, to evaluate teachers or determine school grades. Our entire conversation with the governor is an RTV6 digital extra. It will be posted later this morning on our website, theindychannel.com.